Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, Lore and Fray, and the upcoming Jaw the Dragon. So, over this past week or so, I've been playing a little bit of Mario Rabbids, and I do mean a little bit. I haven't gotten super deep into the game. I don't know anything about the side quests and things like that. I'm on like the second world or something. I've been very casually playing it in between playing other games, and it's one of those things where like the game is good, like the game itself is a lot of fun, but like it's a lot like the original in which like its lack of real Nintendo quality uh really shines through. It's really weird like struggling cycling through menus because they're so poorly designed and having like weird graphical glitches. I ran into this one glitch where the loading screen like would not end essentially, so I had to close the game and I ended up playing something else. Like the game, much like the original, is a lot of fun. Like the core gameplay is addicting. It is like very technically deep. It's a really cool mix of like action and strategic gameplay. I do think it's a really unique for the Mario franchise, but again, much like I felt about with the original, I don't think Ubisoft was the right team for this project. In fact, that it feels like I'm a big fan of the Mario aspects. The Mario characters look great. They have a lot of personality. It feels like a really cool Mario adventure. But I hate the Rabbid aspect. Like Rabbids are just generally not very interesting or funny characters. There are times where like I find them amusing. Like sometimes they get into interesting situations, but it's not often. It's not like frequent. And I find myself thinking that like, in spite of all this game's positive qualities, am I enjoying it? And the answer is yes, but at the same time, like it's one of those games where I'm just like, do I really want to spend my time playing this? Because all of you who have been following the channel know that I'm like been very, very hard at work at like Jaw the Dragon. It is 50% of the way through. I'm about halfway through now. I'm gonna try and get this done by the in a month. I mean, that's not gonna happen because I'm lazy as fuck. But I'm gonna try and do it. I'm gonna try and get this thing done. I would rather do that than play something like Mario Rabbids. You know what I mean? Like Mario Rabbids is good, but like much like a lot of other good Nintendo games I've played lately, stuff like Nintendo Switch Sports, stuff like Mario Strikers, Triangle Strategy. Like there were a lot of Nintendo games this year where I just played them and just been like, yeah, I really enjoy them for what they are, but at the same time, I could be doing something else. It's kind of the problem I've been having with lately is that like I have so many great games that even like good ones like Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope don't really do it for me anymore. Like the game itself is not the problem. It's actually quite good. I would say about on par with the original. I don't want to say better because like there are all these weird changes I don't think really needed to be done. Like for example, you have this glide mechanic instead of the jumping mechanic from the original, which was a lot more fun, intuitive, and much more in line with the Mario brand. Like you have instead of like the maps being built into the overworld, you have like you get transported to another area, and I don't know, like it's different. Like it doesn't feel like a rehash of the original at all, but at the same time, did they fix like any of the real problems? Did they make the story interesting? Did they make like the characters funny? Like no, I really don't think so. I just think that they could have done a lot more with like a better brand. I just feel as if Mario Rabbids, from a fundamental aspect, was a mistake. Like a crossover with such a mediocre brand, with such a mediocre company, like with Ubisoft, that was like Nintendo could do better than this, honestly. I don't understand why Ubisoft is like the only company that they've done any meaningful cross promotional materials with. Because, they did Starlink with Star Fox, which was also pretty terrible. Actually, I disliked that game a lot more than Mario Rabbids. At least with Mario Rabbids, it's like functionally a good strategy game. Like there's nothing wrong with the gameplay of Mario Rabbids, but Starlink is just fundamentally broken with like the toy aspect, with just the characters that nobody cares about. The only reason Starlink was even talked about when it premiered, when it was shown off, was because of the Star Fox aspects, and that didn't stick for long. Honestly, it's kind of a shame. I think if it was it feels like Star Fox really should have had a renaissance in the past decade or so, and it just has not happened. And a big reason for that, I think, is just because of Starlink. Like if they just had a good Star Fox game with that kind of budget and that kind of like reach, like I just don't. Starlink could have been like the Star Fox game, like to appeal to the masses instead of like the extremely niche, like fringe thing that Star Fox Zero was. Star Fox Zero was great, and I love it, but the casual audience made it very clear that they want something more casual. They want something more, narrative focused. They want something like more focused on open world, and I think Starlink could have delivered on that, and it just didn't. Like I've been wanting Ubisoft to like go away for a long time now, and Nintendo putting out like these partnerships with them, keeping them relevant for just a little bit longer, it needs to stop. Ubisoft needs to go bankrupt. They've been like on the top of my list of like the worst video game developer, I would say, in the industry right now. I can't think of anyone else I hate more. Like, I don't have the seething hatred for EA that I do most people. Konami has been putting out a lot of ports. I've been thinking lately that a lot of the good re-releases, some of the best re-releases I've been playing on Nintendo Switch are Konami ones. You have the Contra collection, the Castlevania collections. They're releasing the Suikoden game soon, which I'm really excited about. Capcom has been doing a lot of good support on Switch. Monster Hunter Rise was one of my favorite games of 2021, right? Like all these third parties are doing all this great stuff. Nintendo could do great partnerships with any of them, but Ubisoft, a company that functionally hasn't put out a good game in its entire history, like it's not even about the Mario Rabbids thing anymore. It's more like I just do not believe Ubisoft is capable of putting out a great game. And there are shades of that in Mario Rabbids. Like I've said, like the interface is clunky, the overworld is boring. Like there's no motivation for you to like go and explore and like see these planets. They're all uninspired as shit. Like other than like the gameplay aspect, which is genuinely good, I just find this game to be rather lacking. Like I just find it to be like a copy paste Ubisoft project. Like it has those same issues that plague so many other Ubisoft games. Like wanting to connect the interface, their online club, which is never going to happen. Um, you know, the bland designs, the bland just ideas. It's just the poor balancing issues. Like it just seems weird how often I go from like stopping the opponent to just getting like wrecked by like just this map that seems specifically designed to just not be in your favor, right? It feels. I just don't think the game. Hmm. I think Nintendo can have a lot more. Needs to get a lot better partners than Ubisoft. They need to partner with like smaller indie teams. They need to put together like more stuff like Cadence of Hyrule, right? Like when are we getting something like that again? It's been a long time. I feel like that was like I'm not a big fan of Cadence, but like I can understand like why so many fans of Crypt of the Necrodancer were excited about it, and I myself have been like really wanting to like get into that game for the longest time, but I just can't do it because I'm not a fan of Crypt of the Necrodancer. But the fact is, that's a crossover people actually wanted, that people are actually enthusiastic about, which is like genuinely unexpected. Mario Rabbids, a sequel that just is functionally the same thing as the last one. That's not really what I wanted. I I think they could have done a lot better with this.